Well, that wasn't supposed to be up. Hello, everybody. Trouble.
Oh, wait, I think.
Well, unfortunately, Hydra, you have redeemed the wrong thing. That's too bad for you. I am going to have to time you out. So, that's unfortunate. Well, anyway. Anyway, hi everybody. Hello. Welcome, travelers. Let me see what we've got here. Gamma got the first traveler. Gerbil checked in. Gamma also checked in. Hydra checked in. Kami, did you check in or else I can't talk to you? I can't talk to you unless you check in. I'm so sorry. That's the rules. It's not the rules, but it's totally the rules that I'm making up right now. Anyway. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hydra's gonna fight Kami in the comments, apparently. Hydra got demodded. Oh my god, did he? No, he's still mod.
Mod, but I'm not.
Oh, but you're not lead mod. Oh. Anarchy? No, Gamma. No anarchy. Anti-anarchy, actually. Anti-anarchy. Calm, cool, collected people. That's what we're going for. Yeah. Okay. Unless you're tribbles, apparently. No, Hydra. No, Hydra. Hey, Draugr, how you doing? Welcome in. If you guys don't know, he's my boss. So please be nice. No, we're not anarchying while my boss is here. No. No anarchy while boss is here. Tut. Dribbles! Dribbles is my cat. She's very loud.
Timing her out.
Oh, Hydra's timing her
In real
out.
life.
Reminder to take your pills, everybody. Take your pills. What? She's laying flat on the ground in the hole. Oh my god. In front of Smudge's door, too. Oh my god. Our cat's a diva. Kitty. Gamma says kitty. Anyway. Hi, everybody. Smudge is currently already in bed, so no good nights for Smudge. She's sleeping. She got to go to her auntie's today, so she's extra tired. She was a little cranky, but that's okay. We love a cranky baby. We don't, but we love her, even while she's cranky. Anyway. Hi everybody, how y'all doing? I haven't streamed in 2 weeks due to a lot of things going on. It's been an event. Of course, it's during part 2 that I have like things happening where I can't stream. But anyway, we're here now. That's the important thing. We'll do a pretty nice good recap of the first episode of Richard Ramirez, and then we'll do a better we'll finish off Richard Ramirez, and then if there's anything else, then I will go ahead and I have research to do for Draugr, my boss. So we'll do a little bit of like work with me kind of vibes. But yeah, so I hope you all have been well for the last 2 weeks. I should probably do my usual cabin news. So, fun thing, for drinks for today, I have a can of Coke, a glass of water, And Hydra is being the sweetest of husbands, and he is making me some peppermint tea. Uh, he totally remembered that he was making me some peppermint tea. He swears. He swears he totally remembers it. Uh, so he is doing that, and then, so these are my 2 drinks for right now, and then when I have peppermint tea, I will have peppermint tea. Snick, don't forget, no, Snick totally forgot. Snick completely forgot. Yes, please. Like a shuka. Offered tea to the moth. He's adding sugar. We have a rule in our household. It's really funny because we don't really measure our sugar. It comes in a box. And so when we do sugars, it's really hard to tell how much sugar to put into each cup. And when you pour it over, it makes a sugar sound. So we have this weird rule in our household that if it's like you go like a sugar, and that's 2 like swooshes of the box. And that's how you measure the sugar out. Something is in troubles today. She's full of it. She's full of whatever. She's full of piss and vinegar. That's what she's full of. Anyway, what do you guys all have to drink for today? I'm very curious. I have. Can I get a little ramekin for when? Thank you. I have pepper. It will be good and delicious and soothing for the tummy, my dear. So, which is great because my tum hurts because we drove around a lot because we had to go get Smudge from her auntie's house, which is Hydra's sister, if y'all don't know. So we had to drive to auntie's house to pick up Smudge, then drive back, and it just, I don't know, sitting in the back seat during high traffic time made me a little nauseous. It made Smudge nauseous too, so I feel like a very valid scientific measurement. Thank you. Yes, it is. The shuka is a incredibly reasonable way to measure sugar when it comes in a box. But yeah, so I got a little nauseous, so I had to eat while I had an upset stomach, and now I just have a very full upset stomach, which is a great plan on my part, obviously. Let me see, what else have I got to talk about? Work is fine at the Moth Cave. I will say, though, there are some very dumb people at my job. It's okay.
Oh.
Well, you know, one of them's gotten... You want to bang anything else?
No, you don't.
I only bang you. Anyway. I'm sorry. So, yeah, no, one of my coworkers has actually gotten a lot better. She's a lot less annoying. The other one is prime annoying. So that's fun. Thanks for the insight on British names for the planes. Yeah, no problem. One of the names isn't... Is Smudge okay? Okay. So if y'all don't know, I am a researcher on the side, and Draugr, my boss, has hired me to do World War II planes, like a bunch of research on World War II planes, and some of these names are incredibly a pain in the butt to pronounce. I had no idea how to pronounce like one word in particular tripped me up so bad that I was like, you know what? I'm adding the pronunciation on this because I can't get it, and I would hate for the person who paid me to research this couldn't pronounce it. I would feel bad. Who knew the English are bad at English? They are. Literally, Okay, here, I'll type it in chat. And then I want Hydra to try to pronounce that correctly.
What?
Skewa. Not skua. You were close, but skewa. What, blat?
The blat.
No. But that's the name of a plane. And by the way, now I have gotten like full-blown autistic on World War II planes, or well, interwar planes. So don't ask me. This is a Titanic situation all over again. I now know, okay, so one, I already know way too many facts about the Titanic. Don't bring it up. Don't ask. I will talk about it. I will happily talk about it. That's really the problem. I will derail the entire thing. We're not talking about, we wouldn't talk about Richard Ramirez anymore. We would 100% only be talking about Titanic facts. So, don't ask me about the Titanic. And now, at this point, don't ask me about interwar planes, because I will talk about it for at least an hour. But don't. Just don't. But the Skua was one plane in particular that I was like, I cannot pronounce this. And then one German word, like big old German word, and I was like, you know what? No. We're just gonna add a pronunciation for that, because I can't pronounce that. It was an event. It's fine, but it was an event. Let me see, what else do I usually do for cabin news beyond talking about my job, my research projects? Oh, I'm in UFO hell for my other research project. It's fine. It is very fine. I will continue to research UFO stuff, but it is a lot of UFO stuff. I cannot wait to butcher the names. That's why I put the pronunciations there. If there was one in particular, the German cruiser, German boat name, and I was like, no. I had to look up 3 different pronunciations for that. It was an event. Fine. It's fine. I'm really hoping that there's not going to be any more really hard to pronounce names, but we'll see. That's why I put the notes there. Yeah. I'm tired. I'm so tired. Smudge actually slept through the night last night for the first time ever in her crib, and it was wonderful. Except for the fact that I woke up at 4 a.m., which is usually when she wakes up. I woke up at 4 a.m. to watch her to see if she would wake up. So instead of just sleeping through the night like she did, I stayed up for an hour to see what she was doing. So technically I've been up since like 4. You know, the joys of a 5, almost 6-month-old. Oh my god, she's gonna be 6 months next week. I just found out I was pregnant. That's wild. No, I just found out. It feels like I just found out I was pregnant with Smudge. There we go. I just found out that I was pregnant with Smudge. It feels like yesterday. So the fact that she's here and that she's almost 6 months is like really weird. Very, very weird. Let me see what else. Oh, the project. So as you all know, I've been working. Was about to say, nope, not pregnant. Nope, not pregnant. Nope, not pregnant. Nope. It would actually have to be the second coming of Jesus, because there's no way. Nope. No, it feels like I just found out I was pregnant with Smudge like yesterday, so the fact that, yeah, because about this time I would be heading into my 2nd trimester right now, I think. Yeah, I'd be heading into my 2nd trimester, and the 2nd trimester is when we got the nausea meds figured out, so I started feeling less like an incubator and more like a human. And that was a good time. So, yeah. And I remember when Smudge was just a gummy bear. She was the size of a gummy bear. And it was very exciting because we got to see her for the first time on the ultrasound. And it was very exciting. And that would have been, what, May of last year? Is when we got to see her for the first time. It was great. That's where she got her nickname, was because she was just a little smudge on the ultrasound. Yeah. So it's wild that was a year ago, and then now she's here. It's crazy. And the year is going by so fast. I feel old by saying that, but like, the year is going by so fast. All of Smudge's firsts are like just boom, 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 and it just feels like I'm gonna blink, and then it's gonna be Halloween, November, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, her birthday. It's just boom, boom, boom. It's crazy. Oh yeah, the project. So if you guys don't know, I've been working on Smudge's blanket. Well, you see, this is the blanket that she's supposed to have at the hospital when she was born. And I'm only 5 months late on it. Almost 6. So, I need to get a move on. But I have exciting news. Exciting update on this specifically. Let me move my team. I am officially on the border. I am working on the border. This is the border. It's super exciting. I'm so excited about it. Because once I finish with this light border, this is a minimum border. A barely border. A barely order. Nope, that didn't work. Barely border. Then I will go ahead and add a muslin blanket to the back to make it nice and soft and, you know, comfortable. And then I'll add a better border around it. But this is like the first step to being able to like... Ooh, I'm so close. We're like so close. If I keep going at the rate that I'm going, it'll probably be like next week, maybe next month, that I will be done with this. Next week, by the time that I add the backing, is my guess. Next month, by the time I'll be done. Like, completely done. Which is fabulous. I'm so excited about it. And then I can move on to a brand new project. No, I probably should stick to finishing my other projects, but I could also start a new one. Just saying. We'll see. We'll see when I get there. Because it would be nice to try to wrap up some projects, but also... You never know. You never know. I might not, I don't know. And for anybody who's wondering, this yarn is the Lions brand Feels Like Butter yarn in the color mint, I believe. If it's not mint, then I've been lied to my entire life. Mint! Butter. It literally is butter. See? B-U-T-T-A. Butter. Smooth. It's also incredibly fluffy. I love the feel of this yarn, man. Does it smell minty? No, but I don't know what it actually smells like. It smells like... smells like nothing. But it also feels so soft against my face. Just so nice. And you know it's super fluffy because when you squish it, it doesn't make a sound. Here. That's the sound it made. We're gonna try it again. Okay, ready? Alright, everybody listen real close now. I'm gonna squish the yarn. Yeah, That's how fluffy it is. You can't even hear it. But yeah. No, I had to also go to Michael's to actually get some supplies for this blanket. Because all I have is black thread. I know, big shocker, all I have is black thread, the person who only wears black. So I needed to get some white thread so that I could match with the blanket and all of that. And when I went to Michael's, I swear, You would think the way that the old crotchety women looked at me, you would think I pissed in their Cheerios. I was like, because they were giving me mean mug looks of, what are you doing here? And I was like, I belong here. Like, you don't understand. I belong here. This is my place. I am a knitter, crocheter, embroiderer, sewer. This is my little haven. Screw you. Don't even ask me how many Michael's points I have. Hooker, shut up. I mean, I am, but stop. Oh, that tastes. Okay. Oh. Alright, well, I guess we should get into the story, eh? It's about that time. So I might as well get started on this. Let me get a couple of stitches in. Then we can begin. I'll do like kind of a big professional. I am a professional. Crocheter. I'm not gonna say the word, but I am a professional. Technically, I think well, I have gotten paid for it, so I think I've gotten paid for my crochet. Not it. My crochet. So I think that makes me a professional crocheter. Yeah. I should have a professional researcher to... Anyway. So, Richard Ramirez. What do we remember? If we remember anything, what do we remember? Well, if you don't remember anything, here's what I'm going to tell you. This is a picture of Richard Ramirez as a young boy. He was a great kid, apparently. He was a great kid, apparently. He was the nice kid next door. Okay? So keep that in mind. He's this great kid. He's a good member of his church. He's the altar boy. His mom is so proud. He's got siblings, but you know, everybody just loves little Richie. Richie is just the best kid. One tiny problem. Richie's father was a belligerent drunk who actively beat Richie. Beat him so much and to such a pulp that Richie, by the time that he was of the age of 6, had like 3 or 4 near-death experiences because of the constant beatings, right? No good. His dad was also notorious for beating Richie up. Not ideal, yes. Beating Richie up and tying him to a cross in the cemetery near them and leaving him overnight, okay? No good. And this caused Richie to have some pretty bad mental problems by the time that he was a teenager. Like this. Like that. Teenager. So, by the time that he was a teenager, he was having epileptic seizures, and Richie was just kind of changed. He was just not the same. He no longer was a good kid. He was stealing. He was dealing with some hypersexualism, and he was also spending a lot of time with his cousin Miguel, who was a He was a Vietnam veteran who was very proud of his killings in Vietnam and his raping, and would show pictures to Richie of meat-headed women. So Miguel, not a good guy. So Richie went and lived with his sister, and his sister's husband Roberto was a peeping Tom who would take Richie around houses to peep in houses. Great family life. Great family life. So by the time that he's in his 20s, Richie has been heavily drinking, heavily smoking marijuana, doing a little bit of LSD, which, you know, let's just go ahead and mix that, you know. LSD, severe mental problems, great pile to throw it in. So by the time he's in his early 20s, he moves to California. You know, fresh start, all of that. Gets heavily into cocaine too. So, you know, just throw another drug onto the pile of the mental illness, the drinking, the smoking cigarettes, the smoking marijuana, the LSD, now cocaine. A lovely, lovely little soup of red flags. That's what we got going on here, a soup of red flags. So, Richie then goes around killing a bunch of people, leaving symbols everywhere of a pentagram written in blood. And he also was very specific in how he killed people. I'm gonna slow down about this just a little bit. He was incredibly specific about how he killed people. He would go into their houses, break in during the night, hence the name Night Stalker. He would go into their houses. He would kill the husband or the man or whoever the head of the household was. Kill them. And then go on to torture, do terrible things to the women in the house. And if there was no man, even better. Then he got 2 victims out of 1, and it was a great time. But here's where the problem is, okay, is that he is going around doing all of these terrible things, and he's ramping up. Oh, hey, Ta. Welcome in. Welcome in, Ta. Yeah, how you doing? We're doing a quick recap of Richard Ramirez. Well, I guess a long recap of Richard Ramirez before we get into the rest of it. Sad I'm late. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. It's not like I can't answer anything. Let me see, where am I? So, during this kind of constant killing spree that he's going through, he's, look, I'm not going to say Richard is the smartest person. He's not. Richie is not the smartest person. So he's kind of leaving by, like, little nuggets of evidence at every little crime scene. Just little nuggets. So, the police are like, one of the cops that I listened to, he was like, oh, I stayed up for, 48 hours trying to do this. I didn't see my family for a week. We were just trying our best to find this guy. And I have a cough. Oh, I have a cough. Hold on. So, the cops are struggling to find this. All they know is that this is an indiscriminate killer who, during the summer, which is the worst time in California to do this, by the way. I will explain in a minute. But during this time in California, it's the summer. It's not like he's really stalking his victims like a lot of serial killers do. It is 100% opportunity. He is just trying to find whose ever door is open, whoever's window is open, and taking advantage of that. Now, here's why this is a huge problem in California, specifically. Is in California, during the summer, we don't really have a whole lot of ACs. Even when I was growing up in California, didn't really have a ton of ACs. So what you would do during that week of really hot summer is you would just open your door. People would open up their front and their back door to kind of let the air flow through. And then you just kind of leave the screen door shut. Fine, everybody knows what's going on. You would also leave your windows open and, just anything to get the air moving around the house. A lot of people actually would even just put mattresses on their front porch and sleep on their front porch because at least the breeze would come through at night. That's the difference between where I'm living now and when I was growing up, is that when I was growing up, yeah, you just open the doors. Like decent people should be able to do. Yes, thank you. But that's how I grew up. And then, if you got too hot, you would go take an ice bath. You would fill up the bathtub with ice and cold water, and you would dunk yourself in there. You get pretty cold after that. And then the extreme heat feels kind of nice. And California heat is way different than Texas heat too. California heat is dry, but it cools off at night. So you're not just sitting there in hot bleh. It would cool off, so, at least during the night you had the ability to kind of like, it sounds silly, but you would suffer through it and you could like kind of maneuver around it. It would be fine. You just had to get through the day. And then now I live in Texas, where the air is soup, hard to breathe, hot soup. It feels like you just stepped out of a steamy shower. So you're just kind of hot. You can't breathe. And it's just bleh. My skin was the driest when I lived in California. Yes. Yes. Completely. Same here. Let me see. And I can even tell you right now, the weather in my city is 85 degrees. Is 85 degrees tonight. The sun is down. The sun is setting. And it's 85 degrees. And it's 70% humidity. We're having kind of a low humidity day. It's pretty exciting. It's terrible. It's muggy. Ugh. So, like, opening the windows here does nothing. It actually makes it worse. Yeah. It makes it worse. Shut the windows, shut the doors, have your little bubble of AC. And then you go from your bubble of AC to your car. Your other bubble of AC when you get to the office. That's basically that's the triangle of bubbles. But in California, you could just kind of open your door and let the air through. But this also meant that the Night Stalker could just waltz right in. So, for the first time ever, people were actually locking their doors, staying inside during the summer, which is just kind of unheard of. And I actually know quite a bit of people from our cat sneezed. And I know people that like literally would who were so upset because they had to shut their doors and windows for the first time ever, and they were like, it was hot, it was muggy, it was terrible. I was in San Antonio in August once. It was like that feeling when you get when you open an oven. Yeah. Actually. Yeah. But when you're cooking something really like completely frozen and that steam just kind of hits you in the face. Yeah, that's how it, yeah. It's fun. It's not, but it's fun. So, basically, people were talking about, like, you love it? I know you love it. It's unfortunate. So, people were talking about for the first time, they had to close their doors, they had to close their windows during the summer, and it was just awful. And it's just, it was terrible. It be like every little room became like a miniature oven. And also, guns sold out from gun stores because people were going in mass hordes to try to get a gun to protect themselves from the Night Stalker, which at that time they didn't know who it was. I mean, you're just scared. You know, this is like what was it, like a year and a half of pure terror. It's just terrifying. And so people were scared. And the one thing that the cops have, because, you know, everybody's asking the cops, hey, what do you have? What do you have? Do we have any leads? Do you have any idea? And the mayor at that time is losing his mind because, you know, people are asking him too, like, hey, what are you doing to get things done? And he's like, I'm working on it. It's fine. And then going to the police station going, what are you guys doing to work on it? So, you know, with massive pressure from the governor to try to find out who this Night Stalker was, the police tell the governor, or the mayor, hey, look, here's what we have. We have an Ava sneaker in the flower bed of, like, half of these houses. And in the other half, they have, like, fingerprints and they have stuff. But they just can't really connect anything yet. But what they do have is these Ava sneakers. So the Ava sneakers were a size 11.5, which is very specific. You know, that's an interesting size there, big feet. And So they contract the distributor of Ava sneakers. They're like, hey, Ava, where have you sold these sneakers? And they're like, oh, hey, we have about 6 locations. In this general area. We have 5 that were sold in like this very specific Ava sneakers, size 11 and a half. There was about 6 sold in this area. So the police are like, 6, you say? Would you like to give us the rest of that list? Just, perchance. And, yeah, go ahead. 5 are in Arizona. So they were like, check mark those 5. That's not them. And 1 was sold in Los Angeles. Los Angeles, the place where all of these murders are happening and, seems to be right around this area. Los Angeles, that place where 1 of these shoes have been sold. So, the police start trying to narrow it down. The problem is that Richard paid for his shoes in cash. So they just know that 1 of these shoes has been sold in this one store. In this one size. But they're narrowing it down. Now they know guy probably is in Los Angeles. So they tell the mayor, hey, don't tell anybody this information. This is kind of secret. Because this is the only real clue that we have on this Night Stalker guy. And the mayor goes, oh, okay. Okay. Alright, thank you for this information. Now that I know you guys have a lead, this helps. And then the mayor turns around and tells everybody in a press release, we know that the suspect of the Night Stalker killer wears Ava sneakers size 11 and a half. Just FYI. They have a lead. The police have a lead on this. And the police do a collective facepalm because this was the one thing that they had. And they had a feeling that the Night Stalker was watching the news. So there goes their lead. Okay. All because of a mayor. Well, Richard Ramirez did indeed see the press release. He saw that they had figured out what shoes he was wearing. And so he did what any serial killer does when they find out that the police know what shoes he's wearing. He goes to the Golden Gate Bridge that night that the press release happens. He goes into the middle of the Golden Gate Bridge and chucks his shoes into the bay. And that's it. So now, this, one lead is gone. So, now this one lead is gone. Police are mad. Police berate the mayor. The mayor goes, I'm so sorry. I had no idea that you guys didn't want me to tell the press this. When you specifically said, don't tell the press this. I got confused. I thought you said, to tell the press this. Anyway. So, in the very last murder case, a detail in there was that a Toyota had been stolen. A Toyota SUV, orange SUV, had been stolen. And they were able to recover it, which is great. And the specific thing that's so important about this is that there was a fingerprint that they were able to link to the other crime scenes. So now, at least we have something else, right? And because of a little known program at the time, CODIS, which if you don't know, I love CODIS. CODIS is, oh my god, what is the acronym for, what does it stand for? It stands for something. I know what it stands for. It stands for the Combined DNA Index System. The fingerprint thingy, yes. The CODIS. Although they do also now have, yeah. So it's the DNA system, but they also do fingerprints and stuff like that. So, because of this little known system at the time, they were able to basically send his fingerprints to every police station in the United States. Because at this point, Richard hadn't had any record in California. There was no record of him. He was a perfectly innocent guy as far as California was concerned. But Texas, specifically El Paso, was like, you mean our boy Richie? Because Richie had a very long rap streak in Texas, you know, between the drugs and the very long rap sheet. I mean, pretty much everybody in El Paso knew that Richie, after the constant beatings, became a little petty thief. He would steal everything he could. Literally, people were like, oh, Richie? He would steal anything that wasn't nailed down. You got something in your backyard? It's gone. I don't know why I turned a little Midwest, but you... So, now, the police have, and Texas is very nice about it. They're like, you know what? Here you go. Here's a mugshot of Richie. You guys go have fun with that, okay? And California's like, oh, boy, thank you. Thank you for this mugshot. We're going to go ahead and take care of this now, okay? And the police do a press release themselves. And they do a press conference saying they have identified the Night Stalker. He is a 25-year-old drifter from Texas with a long rap sheet of drug arrests. And a mugshot is released with the statement. And the specific line that I want to talk about, which I love, is a great line, is the police went, we know who you are now, and soon everyone else will. There will be no place you can hide. Terrifying, if you're the Night Stalker. So, what does Richie do with this information? Well, he didn't know, because he had actually gone to visit his brother in Arizona that day. So he had no idea. He had no idea that his mugshot was out there, and his name, and everything about him. So, he goes out to Arizona for a day, finds out that to go visit his brother. His brother's actually not there. And so he was completely disconnected from the news and had no idea what he was going to come to. So he hops up on the bus, goes all the way home, and, you know, he hops off the bus. He's like, I gotta go pee. Goes to go find a local convenience store, walks right past a group of officers just kind of standing out there waiting. And he's like, oh, that's weird. The whole reason why that group of officers there is because they want to catch the killer leaving California. So that's what they're on the look for. They're on the look for Richard Ramirez on the way out. No idea that he would be coming back into California. So he casually walks into a convenience store, goes potty, and, you know, grabs a snack. And while he's standing there waiting for the checkout, two elderly women are just staring at him, giving him the death stare. And he's just sitting there like, what the hell? And they whisper to him, El Matador, which means the killer. And he's like, what? And he looks down slightly to the side next to these women. And it's a newspaper with his mugshot. Here, mugshot. With his mugshot on the very front page. And he's like, oh, fuck. So he starts running. He is running. He is trying to, like, he's panicking. Okay, you know, as he would. So he's running, he gets to a stoplight, and he tries to carjack a car, you know? Yeah, he's trying to pull on the car door. The person in the car is like, what the hell? And that's it. And then he looks over the car, sees somebody trying to get in. Her name is Angela De La Torre. And he runs to her car. She was about to get into her car. And he ran over, got the keys, from her, like, ripped them out of her hands, and then was hit in the head by a fence post by her husband, Manuel. And now there's a lot of commotion going on. Neighbors are coming out of their houses going, what's going on? And everybody's looking at Richard now because this guy has now just tried to carjack 2 people, got hit in the head with a fence post, and Manuel is screaming about how he just tried to carjack his wife. And as their people are coming out of the houses, they're going, is that the Night Stalker? And he's now panicked. So he just starts running down the road. He's bleeding, whatever. So he starts running. He's running down the road. And 10 people or so are chasing him. And they finally stop him. They take him, they pull him down, and they begin beating him. He's now killed a bunch of people. And it kind of turns into a mob. Yeah, they're beating him. He's getting kicked, all of this stuff. And the cops show up because there's obviously commotion. And they go, oh no, guys, wait. Stop. Don't beat him. We need to arrest him. Guys. No. Oh, police gave it some time. And eventually they were like, okay, alright guys. You're gonna kill him. Come on. We gotta go arrest him. And this is a arresting picture. Which is lovely. I love that he looks like he's just gotten beaten. It's great. And, he's getting put into the cop car. His thing is over. Everything's done. He has now been caught. He has been beaten. He is going to jail for his crimes. And he's like, oh, thank you guys for stepping in. The crowd would have killed me. And they're like, yeah. We had to stop. I had to stop them. That's unfortunate. So that happens. And then Richard Ramirez goes to court for his very first time. And I think you can actually see it really well on this picture of his mugshot specifically. You can actually see where the fence post got him, right between the eyes. And that little bit of blood on his nose, that's from his nose being beaten. Yeah, about that, yeah. Yeah, this is from his nose being broken, from the mob. Isn't that nice? Just so nice. They stopped the mob from killing him. Anyway, it's hilarious. I'm gonna leave it up for just a second. So he gets into the court for his very first court appearance. And I believe this is before the trial really kind of went through and, before he got, coached by his lawyers. And he went into the court and held up his hand with a pentagram and said, "Hail Satan." And then his attorney was like, "You an idiot, don't do that. You idiot." And his defense attorney was hoping to try to get, less sentences. And, because at this point, he's got, I think, 7 sentences on him. And, we're not even talking about the kitty diddling. That's not even a part of this right now because the murders are have so much more concrete evidence than the kitty diddling, which is unfortunate. But I mean, good, because it's spared a lot of people from having to relive that, and it's good. But the more charges, the better. So what the defense attorney decided to do was really kind of lay into the let's clean this kid up. He went into court with a Hail Satan thing, and we're just gonna nip that in the bud. And lawyer did his best, but could only do so much when your client whips out a pentagram, right? And clean him up. They got him a suit, they cut his hair, they gave him some sunglasses, and this led Richard Ramirez to being called a heartthrob, which is just the most disgusting thing I've ever heard. Killer, kitty diddler. Let's. I was able to actually to find a picture of this though while he was in his so-called, yeah, I know, his so-called heartthrob period. God damn it, not again. I know. No, trust me. This is a constant problem. Tiny side tangent. Every time that I talk about serial killers, and specifically Richard Ramirez, because he is a personal favorite study, everybody's like, oh my god, you love him because he's so hot, right? And I'm like, no. This is disgusting. He's an interesting study because he shows that nurture can affect nature. He looks ugly as hell. Thank you. Just saying. Concern. Thank you. I don't understand. Yeah, total husband material, right? I mean, who doesn't want a murderer, rapist, and a kitty diddler as a husband? Oh my god, so hot. Tell me our society is sick without telling me, right? Right, I can't. Anyway, so every time they're like, oh my god, you must love him because he's so hot. And I'm like, ugh. I mean, sure, if you consider that I want to study his brain, I have no sexual interest in this. And by husband material, I mean he's gonna make a couch out of him? Yes. Yeah. Who doesn't love a human leather couch? Beautiful. Ugh. I hate this. I hate this. Same thing with Ted Bundy, which I will eventually talk about, but he's an interesting case study as well, and he's one of those where nature, well, I guess that nurture doesn't affect nature. He came from a good home, but still did a lot of bad. And so for that reason, he's an interesting case study that way. But I have no interest in the man. He killed a lot of people. No. So basically, the courtroom had to actually, they were struggling. The courtroom was struggling with Richard Ramirez because the courtroom was filled with women who were swooning in the courtroom and screaming things that they want him, and so this would help his case, right? Obviously he has adoring fans, and this would really help his case here. Wrong. Not at all. Actually, the judge was not swooned by his long hair and sunglasses and a suit. And he was on September 20th, 1989, Richard was convicted of all 43 charges. All of them. 13 counts of murder, 5 attempts of murder, 11 sexual assaults, 14 burglaries. Oh good, yes. And this also, of course, does not include the number of child kidnappings and sexual assaults. So this is the basic charges that were given to Richard Ramirez at this time. And on November 7th, 1989, he was sentenced to the death penalty, which at the time was a gas chamber. So, of course, being sentenced to death, this is kind of a serious moment in the courtroom. Woo! Death penalty DLC, woo! So, of course, this is a somber time. Somebody has just been sentenced to death. No matter what he's done, he is still human. I'm actually in favor of the death penalty, so I don't really care. But he looks at the court. These are the words to being sentenced to death, and the powerfulness that can come in from this. Hey, Dan. Welcome in. And Richard Ramirez looks at the court and says, "Big deal. Death always went with the territory. See you in Disneyland." That was his response to being sentenced to death. Great guy. Solid guy. Quims. He really thought he was so cool, man. I'm just in the like, okay, maybe we should send you to Disneyland a lot sooner. Just saying. And anyway, so during his time while he is going through appeals, as you always do when it comes to death penalty, they should definitely be allowed their appeals. They, in order to prevent any accidentals. I mean, he definitely did do this, but, So as he's going through his appeals, he gets written to every single day. Every single day. And in particular, and visited by, like, a bunch of women. A bunch of women visited him in prison because he was so attractive. One in particular, Doreen Leoy, wrote nearly 75 letters to this motherfucker. And they were later married in 1996 while Richard Ramirez was in San Quentin. I know. And every time that he made an appeal, it was immediately denied, which makes my heart happy. That, like, the appeals court got it and literally went, no. Bye-bye. Denied. And the next time, oh, you're back. No. No, absolutely not. No. So, he is now running out of appeals. And he is diagnosed with B-cell lymphoma while he's on death row. And this is what saddens my heart, is that he died on June 7th, 2013, at the age of 53. Which means he was never truly able, this is him at the time of his death, he was never truly able to fulfill his death penalty sentence. And, as somebody who has actually watched somebody go through cancer and the terribleness that cancer has on the human body, and Richard deserved worse. It was so much worse. He died way too soon. He should have gotten so much worse. Still too good for him. Agreed. Also, should I mention that he divorced Doreen and was engaged to a 23-year-old, which is a 30-year difference at the time of his death. And, like, the only thing that I can take in solace is that he's looking up at us from the 7th ring of hell. And, I wish I was shocked, right? Or, if you believe in reincarnation, he's a dung beetle. And, I take that solace. That he's burning in hell. Or he's eating a pile of shit. Also just to add a nice little cherry on top of this, motherfucker, his body was never claimed after he died. his fiance didn't claim his body. So he was cremated and then just kind of forgotten about. As he should. I hope his body is sitting in a storage unit. Or, maybe he had some good and was fertilizer for a plant. Because then at least he would have done some good for this world. I would love to have talked to his fiance though at that time and be like, why didn't you claim the body? I thought you were like all excited to marry him. What the hell happened? That's funny to me. So, anyway, that's Richard Ramirez. That's the part. Was this? I guess this is technically part 3 of the Cecil Hotel. Rest in piss. Agreed. So this is technically part 3 of the Cecil Hotel because the Cecil Hotel, or no, this is part 2 of the Cecil Hotel, I guess. No, this is 3. I'm dumb. I know how math works, I swear. Because he stayed in the Cecil Hotel in LA during this time. So during all of his murders from 1984 to 1985, he did stay at the Cecil Hotel. So that's why it's relevant to the Cecil Hotel. Next week, we are also going to be talking about, this will be the final part for the Cecil Hotel and the Elisa Lam story. So this is, most people do know this, but if you don't, it's the woman who was found in the water tower of the Cecil Hotel. So we will be talking about that and the eventual end of the Cecil Hotel, because after Elisa Lam, it just kind of went to ruin and eventually was closed, except for the permanent residents, of course. And yeah, so, and then I also have quite a bit of other things that I have nicely saved. I'm very excited to be able to talk to you all about it. But yeah, Richard Ramirez, he's an interesting case study. I've always thought so, because it's always been when you're talking about a serial killer, you're always talking about the nature versus nurture argument. Like, is it his nature? Is it his nurture? Was he just born? That sounds. Was he just born with it, or was he created? Has always been the argument. And Richard is the perfect example of created. And these are always the extremes that I find fascinating. He was created. Ted Bundy was born with it. Ed Kemper was kind of a mixture of both. He was born with it and he was created. It's always some sort of mixture of the two. John Wayne Gacy, I believe, was kind of mixture also. It's usually some sort of mixture. So that's why when you have an extreme, it's fascinating. It's fascinating to me. So, I hope his dad is also, rotting in hell. And, because he created this. And, in my mind, Richard's deeds are also kind of on his father's hand in that same way. The blood is on his hands, because if Richie had just gone, if Richie had not been beaten as horrendously bad as he was, who knows? We might not have had this. This might not have happened. These people might not have lost their lives. We don't know. It's interesting. It's very fun to me. Well, it's not, but it is. You know what I mean. You're here. You guys have to understand. Except for Hydra. He's here because he has to be.
Hello.
But he's here because he loves me. And he appreciates my hobbies. And we love that. We love a supportive husband. But with that, I think my throat is already kind of hurting. And I want to try to see if I can't do this as quickly as possible. And then I'm going to go to bed. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. It's been a long couple of weeks, actually. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm gonna finish my tea. I'm gonna speed crochet this. Gonna go to bed. It'll be nice. It'll be great. I will see you all next week. Oh, actually, I won't see you all next week because it's 4th of July. We're ironically not going to be blowing up anything. We're going to be home by 5:30. Treason day. That's, yeah. We're going to be home by 5:30. Because we have a 5-month-old and she needs to be in bed. Like responsible adults, yes. She needs to be in bed by 6:30. And she has motion sickness, so we have to leave at 5:30 to be home by 6 to give her tummy time to settle so that she can be asleep by 6:30. So no fireworks for us this year, but that's okay. Part of the business. We understood. Next year, maybe. Depends on when Smudge's bedtime is and if she can withstand being up late. So, yeah, no, this year is going to be incredibly responsible adults. It'll be fine. It'll be fun, though. I'm hoping that, our neighbor doesn't, shoot a gun at off of their back porch again. Because that would suck. We'll see. I'll update you guys. We'll see, I'll update you guys on the week after. And let you guys know, how the 4th of July went for us and our little family. Alright. Well, let's see. Do we have anybody to raid? Hydra? Is there anyone need to raid? Ooh? What, This sounds so mean. Lulu's the cowgirl?
Yes.
You know what about Barrick? I haven't rated Barrick. And this sounds so mean, but tell me how to properly spell Barrick's name. Because if I spell it wrong, that's gonna suck. Thank you. I knew it was I just call him Barrick. I don't know how to spell. I'm a bad speller. Could you also potentially do a raid message for me? Thank you. Appreciate it. Hydra's such a great mod. Everybody appreciate him for his good modness. Alright. Ignore my weird copy and paste. Okay, y'all. I will talk to y'all not next week, but the week after. Y'all have fun with Barrick. He is a great guy. He is a lovely friend. And I will see you all later. Okay, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yo, what's up, guys? Cozy.